Joining me now on Inside the Tournament, called our championship matches for TST last year out in Vegas. Herculez Gomez, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, boss. It's good to be here. I'm actually out in Vegas right now. I'm in a hotel room. Vegas is nuts. I'm here for Formula One. It's crazy to see what they've done with the city. If you know Vegas, it's like straight shot the strip. It's become a maze because of Formula One. So it's interesting to see the clientele that comes in. That's always kind of Vegas is always fun, people watching, but they've taken it to another level.
TST, we had a bunch of celebrities, but I'm curious who have you bumped into out there so far?
For my fight fans out there, UFC fans, I was talking to Raul Rosas Jr., who is a 20-year-old UFC fighter in the bantamweight division, one of the like up and comers, character for sure. Yeah, that was cool to see. Other than that, like you see a bunch of people last year, the day of the race, the clientele that came in. I mean, A-list celebrities, Hollywood, DJs, you name it, they were here. Actually, Josie was also here last year. I like through social media, we're like, oh, you're here, and could never get in touch with them. But there's all types of celebrities from all types of backgrounds and soccer as well.
That's great. Super cool. Let's jump into some TST things though, because we got to hit on it. First thing I want to ask, last year you did the group reveal for TST, and then you ultimately came called the championship matches. But before then, when you were first hearing about TST, what did you think?
It's funny because, like in the States, TST is taking it by storm, right? But this idea, like I've seen, abroad in different versions, and it hit like wildfire abroad. So it was like bound to come to the States, like the Kings League, Gerard Piqué is going on. In Mexico, they got a couple of versions of that and like their own, you know, uh, YouTubers League, if you will. So it was bound to happen in the States. And when I heard about it and, ESPN's interest in being involved, it just seemed natural. The amount of football that goes on. And I always hear, you know, uh, soccer isn't big in the States. Football isn't big in the States. I beg to differ. It's just maybe the brand you think should be big in the States isn't big in the States. But this is a footballing country. It's a footballing culture. There's just so many different versions of that. So TST fits right in. That's another version of, what people may have appetite for. So when we had the opportunity to be involved in the reveal, which I thought was great, like getting the likes of JJ Watt, Pat McAfee, Chad Ochocinco. You know, I I'm trying to think of like the other names that got involved, like Chris Paul. Just under one roof together in one show. I thought the way we did it, Football Americas, ESPN Plus, Sebastian Salazar and it just felt right. It brought relevancy to what I think is a great product. So it was fun to be involved with.
When we talked, or when you did that reveal early on, some of the big names were Aguero on the playing side, Aguero, Nani. Obviously, there was the celebrities, Bayern, Dortmund, and of
Yeah.
that, major players, it was Nani who made it the furthest. Were you shocked to see him playing at that level at this point of his career?
Yeah, people are gonna be like, "What do you mean? He's a world-class footballer. He's played for Manchester United, the Portuguese national team. Like, why would anybody be surprised?" You will be very surprised at how seriously the people involved in these things take it. If you are a, let's say, ex world-class footballer, who's done it all, seen it all, played at the highest of levels, why would you want to come play in this, right? Why would you be so invested in this? If you watch this guy play in this tournament, he was literally getting into verbal fights with guys. Sasha Kleshman, for example, the guy they were teammates, I believe, in Orlando. Like, and here he is verbally jabbing him, taking pride in like putting this dude away. How much enjoyment he got out of that and how much sacrifice goes into it. Like you just don't step onto the field and say, all right, I'm gonna play. Like you've got to prepare. You don't want to be embarrassed by some of these kids, right? And to see him at his age and how physically fit he was and the team they put together, like they had Portuguese legends there. Not only on the normal 11v11 side, but like Ricardinho, like actual legends in their sport. So it was very cool to see the mixture that they brought in and how competitive he was. I guess you never lose that competitive edge, but to see how like just physically fit and how in tune he was into the 7v7 game, because it's different. It's different. You can be a great outfield player and come into a tournament like this, and you're going to get smashed by some of these teams like La Bombonera, who made it to the final. These guys knew how to play, this version of football, this brand of football, and they'd humiliate guys who were doing this for a living for, over the past decade.
And then you mentioned that Bombonera Nani final. You were on the call, and you were on the call for the women's championship as well. Target score time, electric. How'd you like calling a game with a this or calling a match with a no matter what, these are ending on a goal?
Yeah, man. It makes it great from a commentator's perspective because the game's never put away. So, there's a team that's going to have like an ace up their sleeve if they can use it. And when they do use it, you can just momentum shift, the crowd gets behind it. Sometimes that emotional paralysis kicks in for the rival where it's like, oh man, didn't expect this. What do we do now? And they become really exciting. You're never out of it. So I enjoy that from my perspective, calling the games. That was great because you didn't know what was going to happen. I'm sure from a player's perspective, you're like, woof, this could be great for us, or this could really do us in. We're a better team than this team, but we can't seem to put them away, and they can put us away at any given moment. So it keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, I talked to Allie Krieger last week, and she said, I was so anxious during target score time. And then she paused for a second and she said, I loved it. So that was like cool to hear. It's like, yes, it's stressful and crazy, but like, I'm sure it was the same for you growing up, whether you're playing soccer, basketball, football, there's no timer, there's no
No,
clock. It's first
no,
to a score or it's next goal wins. So
next
everyone that
goal
we talk
wins.
to is like, this
Yeah.
is what it was like playing soccer as a kid, which was great to hear. For you, are we going to ever see you out on the pitch at
Ha,
TST?
I doubt it, man. I'm 42 years old right now. I should already have a knee replacement. Some of my counterparts that I talk to are already there. I don't do anything physically, so this is why my knee doesn't hurt. I'm just chill, family. I should get back into it one day. If I do, trust me, it's not gonna be with these young guys. It's not gonna be with some of these players who really can ball. It'll be like in an over 50 league somewhere. Somewhere in suburbia. I'm not going to play at this level with these guys because they're just going to embarrass you. Like there's some good quality. People don't realize like you could play in World Cups, you can play in Copa Americas, you could think you're good at the club level, whatever the case may be. You come onto this small, reduced field and this type of tournament setup. If you're not prepared, you can get humiliated. And all those credentials, they don't mean anything.
We saw teams from all different parts and all different experience come and make it to the quarterfinals, make it to the final eight, semifinals, etc. What team really caught your eye last year? And you can't say Concava with their celebrations. What team were you like, these guys or this team of great women, they are fun to watch?
Well, obviously the women's national team on the women's side, like you get a collection of that type of player, it's going to be eye-catching, legends of the past, some of the present, and maybe a few you think like, whoa, well, where were these players? Like, unearthed some of these players, right? And on the men's side, La Bombonera, I mean, a lot of these guys, play in indoor soccer leagues, and they're used to this game. To see like how just in tune they are and to translate indoor soccer into this type of environment, substitutions on the fly, line changes, set piece plays, the way they were so just good at moving the ball around and how well they knew each other. That's a team that stood out for me. Like, no big names on that team, really. There are no big names on that team, but they know the field conditions. They know like what the game's about. And if it felt like they had the rule book and nobody else had it. You know what I mean? So they're playing this game with like a massive just card up their ace up their sleeve that nobody else had. And once teams started figuring it out, it was already too late.
I've been to a lot of soccer matches and a lot of basketball games through TBT, TST, and then just go into obviously sporting events. The atmosphere for the Nani versus Newtown Pride semifinal match where they knocked off the defending champs. Nani scores the game winner. Rick Cardino's throwing the ball to save it. That was like one of the craziest sports atmospheres I've ever been at. Were you shocked by the Wake Med Soccer Park TST atmosphere that you saw?
No, I wasn't. I almost expected it because the year before, like that's what I witnessed, right? So like that's what I expected. The drama that came with it, it's always gonna be, unpredictable. But I expected that type of vibe because I saw it earlier, and this tournament's only gonna keep getting bigger as it goes on. So I wasn't surprised. I'm more surprised by the reactions. Like seeing Nani like talk shit to people like that, like this guy should have no business being as invested in it as he was. And it was great. Like you want those storylines, those narratives, at least on my side, on the TV side. And it made it easy for us. It was a fun tournament to call. And when you've got guys who are that talented, forget the fame, but that much of a showman on the field, kind of doing it up for you, being theatrical, it makes my life easy.
Nani said this is the best team I've ever been on. This is the most fun I've ever had. And the way he was performing and acting, I kind of believe him. But obviously, in addition to Nani, you had Sergio Aguero there. You had
Yeah.
Pat McAfee there on the pitch. JJ Watt
J
playing.
Watt.
There's really no wrong answer to this next question because anything is possible at TST. Who, and we'll start with players, then we'll do clubs. Who would you like to see out on the pitch at TST 2025?
Good question. By the way, take that, Cristiano. Nani says that was the best. Like a shot right there. Who would I like to see play in this tournament? Let's see. Um, what I loved about La Bombonera is they brought a sense of flavor with them. Like their fans I thought were great, right? This tournament, this atmosphere, if you could bring in like a Mexican, forget legend, known commodity, and there are a few out there. Like Marco Fabian, I think would be amazing in this tournament, and he's got the quality to perform in a tournament like this. But if I'm going big name, like player that I think would be a possibility, a Kaká, who's already like in and out of the States and plays pickup, in and around Orlando, who I think would be involved in some capacity. Somebody like that, a Ronaldinho, who would do something like this and have fun with it. Those are the names I'd like to see.
Yeah, those are names that have been thrown around a lot. And like 2 years ago, maybe you'd be like, no, no way those guys will ever play in it. But after last year, I'm telling you, possibilities are endless. How about clubs though? Any clubs that you grew up loving to watch or you like what they do over there that you'd like to see get involved with TST?
I mean, you've already got a lot of big brand names. You had Como was there, Dortmund was there, I think Munich was there. Munich was there as
Yeah.
well. Uh,
Inter.
Inter. So I don't think these clubs are out of reach. I'd love to see more local clubs. I'd love to see MLS get involved somehow. I'd love to see, the Galaxy throw a team there. Inter Miami, which is a brand name nowadays. I would love to see them go that route and kind of intercross brands. I think that would be cool.
I agree. I think that would be great. There's those rumors that the season is going to change for the MLS, and that would open the door for a full MLS team to come in with current players, which people would love to see. I mean, Nani's still a player. It's not like he's going to his beach house after those matches. It's his off season. So if there's
Right.
an off season, anyone can come in and play, which would be great.
And they don't have to be current players. They could be players of the past as well. Like MLS has always lacked history, but it's got enough now where they can embrace their alumni in a way where it's good for them, the club, these players, and the tournament.
Absolutely. Well, I think you got some great ideas for sure. Whether it's on the call, on the pitch, which I'm hoping for, or whatever it is, we'll get you pretty heavily involved with TST next year.
That sounds like fun, man. It's always a fun tournament, so I'm down.
I love it. I appreciate you hopping on the show. Enjoy F1 and being out in Vegas.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. I appreciate you guys.